Stony Island Audio.
Throughout the history of you making songs, you can have a song that is a really dope story, but your approach to the lyrics is never like simple. It's never like this happened and this happened and this happened. Like it's always a stylistic flair on it, right?
I like to think so. Yeah, I hope
Oh yeah,
so.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. Because of that, I'm sure there are people out there who just don't get it, and I wonder how much you're ever concerned with that. Like people, like that you could spend all this time crafting this story, but there's some people who will never understand this story. Like, how much does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That figured. That's
I mean, because there are people who do get it.
yeah,
The truth is that the way that I wrote, the way that I do my shit, it's not built for the fucking mainstream, man. It's not. Those records are not built for people getting them really quickly.
hmm
As long as somebody fucking gets this shit, then I'm all right. Now, how many people understand what the fuck you're saying?
I mean, yeah, no, I run into it all the time.
Yeah,
But it's baffling to me.
Well, they catch probably what they catch.
Yeah, yeah.
The hope of these things is that the presentation and the feeling that is invoked from the music keeps them around long enough so that eventually they kind of get what you're saying. For me, that's been the history of me with music. I fell in love with music way before I could understand the music. I was in love with Prince's music way fucking before I could get what the fuck he was talking about. I didn't understand anything that he said. Which is not the same. I'm not saying like, oh, one day you'll grow up and you'll understand. It's like, nah. But what I'm saying is like my relationship with music was one that was intimate in the sense that I always had to come back to it. I always kept it running. And like there's shit that I'm catching to this day. There's shit that's just private between me and music where I'm like, I'll get you one day. I'll get you one day. Like,
Right.
It has nothing to do with anybody but me and the music. And I'm listening to it, and like 20 years later, I'm like, okay, I get it.
You know, it's something I had to learn because I had the same thing where music has been powerful for me. Like there's still like there's Pixie songs that I love. I have no idea what the fuck Frank Black is talking about at all. No idea. Couldn't tell you a lyric, but I love the song. So
you know how long it took me
I've always
understood to understand that he was saying Caribbean? I was just like,
I still don't know.
In the Bahamas. And I was just like,
So like I understand that relationship, but I think when I came into music, like I came in as a rapper, I got, like barely a producer. So like to me, my whole contribution to the song is these ideas I've been slaving over. You know what I'm saying? And so like it really hit me when I first understood that there were people who were gonna fuck with my music, but had no idea what I was talking about. Like that was a big mind fuck for me. But it was the beginning of a lesson that you learn overall, that you like once you put it out, it's up to people to kind of have their own relationship with it.
Yeah, and I think you also got to be like realistic with yourself. What type of writer are you? Because there's ways to write in which people get very clearly what you're saying. But I think that if you're playing with pattern and words and you're really into the poetry aspect of writing, you need to be okay with that being something that's a little impenetrable sometimes. I definitely have had a way of doing my shit where I thought it was very clear sometimes, and people were just like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. And I'm just like, damn, I thought that one was pretty clear, Then I've had people surprise the shit out of me and just really get it. Like there's no problem. Like they completely get not only the references, but also the subtleties, the stuff that's a little bit buried. I mean, in the way that I'm writing and the way that I chose to write, the stuff that I was inspired by is a little buried. Sometimes it's not just something that unfolds itself. That has its ups and it has its downs, The downside is that you can feel like, oh shit, like people aren't really hearing what I'm saying. If they heard what I was saying, maybe they would be into it. The upside is that we're just trying to work on art, right? Do you think that, Jackson Pollock would ever give a shit if anyone was like, I don't understand?
Right.